Hey class, so big video fail. Um, I had the screencast going for this tutorial and my phone filming me talking to you. Turns out the screencast program stopped working and it corrupted the file, so we can't see what was happening in Logic. But I'll try to, the video kind of explains my process, and I'll try and include, if you have any questions on what I was meaning by certain things, I can definitely do more of these. I know that the semester is over, but if any of you are interested in learning more about this, even for the summer, I'll keep putting things on the YouTube channel. But sorry about that, and yeah, my apologies. Big technology goof. All right, today's the day. Today is scoring day. Let's see what we can come up with. I'm just gonna let the camera roll, and you're gonna hear me ramble on about things and maybe try some ideas that aren't gonna work. I do have some ideas as to what to write musically, but I got the screen going, so you'll be able to see what I'm doing on the screen and how it relates to the picture, but I also kind of want to be able to talk to you as well as I go through this process. So let's see what happens. Okay. Now I've already set some instruments as kind of a preset template for this short little clip, and I found some that I think will fit the texture well, but again, I might change this as I go along. But as of right now, I'm pretty happy with some of these sounds, like this ethereal whirly patch I got. Actually gonna jump it up the octave. I think I'm gonna use that as my theme. So let me see. I'm gonna turn the when I score, I tend to have the click track kind of ongoing as I'm watching the picture, and even if I'm playing things in, kind of let things just ride out. But I'm gonna turn it down so that it's not too overbearing. There it is. Should be a decent amount. Okay. Let me set that back to tracks. Now with coffee. Go Westfield. Yeah, let's dive in. Now, I just kind of played off of that theme. Composing is improvising at its very core. And just to point out, I did leave myself 1 bar count in. Depending on the tempo, sometimes I'll give myself 2. If it's a burner around like 200 beats per minute, you want to give a little bit more so you try to come in as best you can. Even with this, I came in a tad early, so I'm just gonna quantize that to 1. And with this kind of patch, there's a bit of a delay from when I press the key. I mean, you can kind of see, and when it actually sounds. And it's very rich in its harmonic content as well, which is what I really like. And there's nothing like a good space vibe, or chord that gives off a space vibe like a major, the raised 5th. I guess in the spirit of Interstellar, this is very much in the same tonal center and same kind of context, so emulation is a good way to start. Alright, I'm actually going to scrap that first pass. Not that I wasn't happy with it, it's just I think I can get it a little better. And I think I want to give myself more time in certain sections, like let the motif breathe a little bit. And again, this is all very subjective. So yeah, I'll start with the ethereal whirly layer. And all these instruments I'm using, I'm trying to use free instruments so that if you want to try this yourself, you'll be more than able to do that. Again, the Spitfire Labs series is just this incredible resource for composers, and very grateful that they've remained free over the years. I'm very cheap. So let's give that a go. I might add in, you know what? I might add in a 5/4 bar right at the beginning, because why not? Let's see if that'll actually... I think that pass was a little better, and I did vary it up. I don't want to be so obvious switching chords like that, though. I've kind of had this idea of shifting tonal centers with the steady kind of pedal point of like a C, kind of just hanging out at the bottom there, and maybe like some sort of rhythmic pulse. Now I'm starting with this pad layer because that's the sound, that's the vibe I'm wanting to really base this entire short score off of. But I always try to keep things to 3, potentially 4 elements at the same time. And one of them is melody. Second is harmony. The third is rhythm. And the fourth, and this kind of gets tangled up with harmony sometimes, is color. So at any given point, I want to access any of those elements. So right now I have my melody within this kind of whirly patch that I have. So that's step 1. I think color, I have this Trumpet Fields, another Labs instrument. I have that set and ready to go. I'm just changing octave here so I can, if you can hear that. I'll turn this one up a little bit. So I really like this texture. I think the attacks are a little abrasive, but I like the overall sound. Kind of that clustery note, and if I can layer that in with the whirly, I think that might give it a bit more character, and that's kind of what I'm going for. As far as rhythm, I just have a short strings patch. I'm probably going to change this and really dive in, and I'm not sure what to use for the percussion yet. I just know that I want percussion. Again, I'm kind of composing the theme and orchestrating all at the same time, and both of them kind of feed each other in terms of idea. But I think for rhythmic pulse, so let me play along with the previous track and see. see how this short string section goes. I'm going to turn it down just because I don't want it to be in the forefront too much. Again, this is part of the process. Going back to that, I don't know if the 5/4 bar is really going to work. I just might offset the 4/4 section. So let me change this. Whoops. Yeah, I'm going to give another pass at the whirly as well. It's all part of the process. There's my sound, texture I want, bit of a click to lead in, and I'm going to really pay attention to the picture this time. And I'm using 60 beats per minute as kind of that rough tempo map that we set before, but that was a other day. Today's a new day, so things might change. You know what? I'm gonna just eyeball it. We're gonna go without click. Live a little on the wild side. I think I'll just use it for the count in, and then when I start playing, I'll turn it off. Oh, I realize I stopped hit the wrong key command. Here we go. Try this again. I think I like that one a lot better. The cool thing about working with MIDI, as you'll see, is I get to really adjust my mistakes. Like this blatant A flat chord, I really am not a fan of. And I'm just going to get everything close to a beat. And then if I need to change any if I need to change any meters or positions or things like that, I can easily do that. Nope, don't want that. So I can drag these around. I just kind of have an open fifth here of the C, G. If you want, we can take a look at the poorly notated score in Logic. I love it. It's very funny. But I'm just going to look at the piano roll. Take the pulse here. Yeah, and I think I'm going to delay this setting, this little section here. I'm just giving that previous section a bit more time to breathe. Again, some lower harmonic content. just stretching it another beat more. It's just going to give it more space. Bad puns. That's how it keeps you sane. You know, bad puns keep you sane when you're working kind of in isolation like this. Now again, there's no right or wrong with all this. I just want to take a point to address that. There's no right or wrong in scoring this scene. I'm just picking, you know, this way because that's the idea I have at the moment, and I'm just rolling with it. And so I just want to give you a glimpse into the whole process there. So let me play this little section here. I'm actually gonna... I wonder, I'm thinking harmony now and kind of progression. If I... It's a little too out there, I think, in terms of where we're... Nice, too pleasant. I think if I just voice the there it is. That's the chord we're looking for. So I'm just copying and duplicating notes, and I know playing the MIDI is kind of silly and it sounds a little funky, but since I already played the kind of one voicing of the chord, I'm just adding a different doubling on it. So I have the third in the kind of melody in the lead position, and then from there I can easily switch and actually, oh, too far. I'm making things too far. I'm going to move this over so we can really ramp up. B natural. So I'm essentially going from an F major chord to a B major chord, B natural, and that tritone kind of vibe and I guess substitution in a way, that's really not the true way to put it, but having that F to B relationship kind of gives a forward motion and a bit of a lift. Again, you listen to scores like Star Wars and it's everywhere. And I think having a pedal point in there when I add that layer is going to really be the icing on the cake for this. Alright, let's play this from the top and see where we're at. Now, I think it's ending a little too late, and I think I can cut a bar back there, and I'm just going to shift everything over. Let's see how that goes. Actually, let me start it at the second half. I think that fits a little better. So we're going to leave that as is. Let's work with the other elements. I think I definitely want to bring in kind of a deeper sound in the second half, because I'm really enjoying the quiet space and sparseness of this opening section. Yeah, I'm liking the tone of that. I don't know if I like the performance of that. What I am going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit. If I know if I want this kind of same voicings and texture, I'm going to actually just copy over the MIDI information from the previous, from the other track, and dump it into the new sound. So that way it's consistent and more layered. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drop it an octave. And I still think even there I can get more out of the synth. Yeah, a bit more full. Okay. And with this, I'm just kind of throwing the notes in there, but you can really play with dynamics and kind of automate the, I guess if you have like a mod wheel like this section here, if I kind of crank it up, it'll kind of bring some more drive into it, but I think I'm going to save a lot of those moves for when like I'm mixing the cue rather than just kind of playing it in now. Alright, so we have a melody, we have some harmony. Let's add some more color to this. Yeah, I'm thinking the trumpet fields now. It's time for the trumpets to show up. Question is where. of going down in this section, I'm going to bring that third note, ba-dee-da, I'm going to bring it up a step, ba-dee-dee. Is still really bothering me, and I think I know why. I still want that yeah, we're gonna pull a split third there for all you Theory 4 people. I'm basically offsetting the tonality a little bit by playing the F major chord. I'm going to go back to the word. And then it kind of in the lower register, still having that A flat. Still sweet, still some tension. And that's what film scoring is. It's all about tension and release. So, there we go. Next section. I think, oh, yeah, this whole tangent stemmed from adding the B flat at the top. So, I think with the trumpet fields, I want to kind of add on to that tension and then too high. Just getting the dynamics and leveling right with that. I think, again, this is really how I work. I just kind of ramble on, even to myself. But let's see what the texture for the trumpet fields adds. I liked it earlier. Now in context, I'm feeling it's maybe a bit too much. And I don't know if it's a volume thing, a tonal thing. Alright, I think I found my gateway there. I'm just going to double the melody, which is probably the best orchestrational thing you can do in film. Don't clutter it, double it. Play that silly little chord, you know why? Sounds like right old crap. That's probably a better voicing, is having C down, having a C in the F chord at the bass. And I'm gonna still get rid of that. Now, I'm not a fan of that sound. I think I'm going to replace it, but here's my thought with this, is I gotta start getting some rhythm and kind of really build towards the end. So let's just kind of play along, and I'm gonna dump in that string rhythm. Not happy with that sound, so I'm gonna change it. Now this is where playing along with the click track can help, and I'm going to see how well this lines up. Alright, I just gotta play in time. And I think what I want to do, I think actually the sound is also informing how I'm playing. And this is kind of a thing to learn about virtual instruments, is they are interesting in their own unique ways. Like that has a lot of delay from the bite of the bow to the sound of the note, and I think I want something more direct, maybe like a synth bass kind of pulsing. So let me see if I can find something like that. You know what? Maybe some pits, actually. That is so dry sounding. Now I'm just playing with the parameters of the sample here. I'm not really changing the sound too much, but I do want a bit more reverb to kind of blend in with the pads. Reverb acts as a good glue for everything. So I always err on the side of more, and I can take back later. Yeah, that might be too much tail there. Happy New Year. Yeah, again, not the best. I will switch it out. In a different context, I think I really like the string sounds. It's just not jiving with me here. And a little loose with the timing, but you know what? We're gonna hit quantize. 16th note. Now that's not the rhythm I played, but it did go close enough. So I'm gonna take the quantization off. Layer, and now that initial buzzy attack of the pits does get kind of blocked out by the rest of the synth ensemble we have going. And I don't mind it. I think I want to layer it with something else though to give it more punch. So I'm just going to kind of duplicate. I still have my labs there. I'm going to call this bass pulse. And normally I like to name the tracks according to what instrument they are, but I think with this I'm getting just the vibe of of what I want the sound to be. Let's see what this sub bass from the Opia. Synthy, subby. It's a bit too much growl at the bottom. I think right there is the spot. And again, I'm just going to copy the information track to track. Yeah, and it's in that same exact register. I'm just going to turn it down because again, I want more of the feel of it. It kind of felt more than heard. Yeah, I like that. And let me just rename these pulse. Any of you Logic users out there, when I highlight a section like that after it's been named, I just hit Shift N and it lets you rename the region. Yeah. Key commands, they help speed up the workflow. Now, again, for the percussion, I really want it to match that pedal point. And again, we're sticking with the three to four elements you want to have going in any given cue. And again, melody, harmony, rhythm, and color. The percussion, the strings, and that bass pulse I categorize them as one instrument, one sound, and it's just again the rhythm, the pulse. I think the trumpet fields adds the color, and the synth pad adds harmony, and the whirly's doing that too, but the whirly's carrying the melody for the most part. All right, let's see what we can get out of some drum sounds. This is a drum kit in a room. That's what they sampled here. It's very, there's a lot of the room in there, and I think if I take out, so that's a kick drum. I like this one better. This is where the DAW will come in handy, and I'll kind of show you some tricks I use to change and transform the sound. And you know what? I'm just going to copy over and then find, woof, kick really kicks. Sorry, I accidentally stopped the screen share for a second. Alright. Because it's right in the middle of my, right where my mute button is for this track. I just didn't want to overload you with kick, but here we go. Alright, it's not bad. Yeah, I'm just moving it back to where that original kick is. Sorry. Now, rename that. An organized session is an efficient session. Let's see how this just blends in off the get-go. But I am going to roll off a lot of that top end. So I'm just taking an EQ and filtering out everything above a certain, or taking everything out from the top end, and only so you hear the low stuff, so it'll kind of, I guess, still have some punch, but you'll feel it too. So yeah, that changes the sound. Again, it's like so like a flappy head on that kick drum. In a different context, drums sound great. here I'm thinking more of that big old bass drum taiko ensemble. And I'm trying to get that with the labs. I don't know if it's going as well as I want it to. So you know what? You get the idea. You can play around with some of it. I said I'm going to use the free stuff, but you know what? We're going to cheat a little bit. Because it's going to bug me if I don't. Get a new track. We're going to bring out... yeah, okay. Whoops. Contact. See if this loads. Or if it will crash. It's always the fear when running so many things at the same time. Like, there we go. Okay. Alright. Let's bring in Hans. I have a Hans Zimmer percussion library from Spitfire. Love it. This might get loud. Drums in space. Alright. Yeah, you know what? Why do the work twice? There we go. That's a hit. Now, I think the key thing when you're working with percussion and film scoring, layers and layers and layers. So I'm literally going to just duplicate this 3 times. I'm going to hide that. And kind of just rename these accordingly. And I think I'm going to change the different drum sounds. So I'm going to have the low taiko solo on 2. I have the taiko ensemble on 1. And then we're going to go large taiko on 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate some of the notes so that they don't all play at the same time. Like, I'll just have the low taiko take the big beats. Here we go. There's a natural crescendo you can see in the MIDI as well. Now, with the low taiko solo, I think I might just leave it as is, and with the ensemble, I'm going to take out the downbeats. And we'll see if that works. Woo! Actually, you know what? Just leave it in there. Let's see how it sounds first before we dive into too much layering, and I'm just going to turn it down again. Now, for that last one, I want the big drum to come in for those last 3, so I'm just going to chop that, join that back together, join all this together. Again, I want them to get louder, so I'm changing the velocity, the amount of impact, and making a natural crescendo. Again, with the strings in there, I can also pit sing. Ludwig drums. Let's go. And I think with these, I'm also gonna put them in a space. Actually, I'm gonna put everything in a space. One of the tricks I like to use is using a bus to I don't know what these two are, but I'm gonna go with bus 3. Just something I can put a reverb plugin in. So I send them all to the same room to make it sound like they were recorded in the same space, and it again acts as glue and ties everything together. So I'm just gonna go into my plugins that I have, and usually my go-to reverb that I like is actually a sample of Mechanics Hall in Worcester. So I like to keep things local. So this is a massive reverb, and I'm going to crank the pre-delay a little bit. So it gives kind of, again, that room feel. This is a long tail, so I'm only going to dial in a little bit. And we'll see, we'll do a before and after. I'm going to dial back the pre-delay a little bit. That's just the reverb sound. I think I want more of the percussion to be verbed out. Now let's balance this out. I think this is where color kind of comes in. I'm actually going to double a lot of this with some strings, kind of the longer padded strings as well. So we're going to kind of bring more orchestral elements in as we go. And I'm just going to go back to let's do, you know what, let's go with the frozen strings. This is a great little library here. Now I'm just going to copy the melody line starting here. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to copy it from here. I'm going to take out all the other harmonic content. Sounds like a dying cat right now. It's kind of got that detuned feel to it. I kind of like that. But I think mix-wise, I'm gonna bury it a bit, so it just only kind of pokes out a little bit. Apart from the frozen strings, oh wait, sorry, I'm not even loaded these patches yet. The trick to writing for strings in a film scoring setting, octaves. You'd be surprised at how little deep harmonic content there is in a John Williams score. The strings in octaves really fill out a lot of what you may be hearing as kind of false harmonies or chords or whatnot. It's just a weird sonic effect that they have. Just a lot of harmonic resonance is happening. So what you want to do is stack the viola, the violin 2, violin 1, in kind of 3 octaves, and you can add the cello along in with the viola as well to give it a different kind of color. But if you do the basses and cello kind of in their own octave, doing like the rhythm part, that lends power. And then to get that kind of romantic sound, the Eric Korngold sound, is the rest of the strings distributed among 3 octaves. So I'm going to kind of create that effect here with our melody. And since I have that all set, I'm just going to, again, copy the same thing so the performance is consistent. So I'm not really playing things more than once or twice, because it's already there. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. So let's call that our top octave. No, we can go one more up that. Strings can do that. I think actually I'm going to save that 3rd octave to the end. A4, A5. It's going to get up there, but I think it'll sound pretty good. Yeah, it's starting to really come together now. I might, I'm going to add in a lower octave. So we'll say that the cello are doing that too. Yeah, let's take a look and see how far we've come. That's not a bad start. I think that's kind of gives a general idea. I don't want this to go on too long. There's a bunch of mixing things that's kind of a separate process, but you kind of get the idea of just using some instruments. I mean, I only have 11 tracks here, but a lot of them are doing the same thing. There's really not a lot of musical material that's happening. I'm picking a theme, I'm sticking with it, and I'm using harmony and color to change it up. Have some rhythm for some drive. I think the one thing that's going to kind of bug me if I don't do this now is I'm going to actually assign the drums to their own bus. Name it drums. Name that one verb. Again, I'm very picky about my drum session. So I'm actually going to change where the reverb is being sent from, because everything is going into that drum group. I'm going to mix, or throw in some reverb on that master drum group. And from here I can kind of control volume. And that's kind of what I'm looking to do here. So I have my bus track So all the drums are actually feeding into this one track here. See? Yeah. So I'm actually gonna fade these in and then kind of bump these up as we go. And I'm gonna do the same thing to the pulses here too, because they kind of fall in, again, same category of rhythm. Start this a little sooner. And I think overall, creep in the violins. We're going to make that crescendo even more, just right to the end of that. Especially for the strings. I think the strings kind of jumping in. There you have it. All right. If you like this, or if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And if you want to see a different kind of approach to this, again, there's a million of ways that I could have scored this little scene. And this is all just with in-the-box kind of tools. I think I would also, add like electric guitar a little bit, just kind of, again, thinking about color and texture. This is a very basic kind of approach, but it works. It fills out the scene and it follows the movement and progression of the scene. But if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And thanks for tuning in. And hope to see you on another. If I do another video, hope to see you on it real soon.